I'm gonna give you the most underrated exercises for athletes, and we're gonna start right now. The first exercise I'm gonna give you, of course, is gonna be a movement that you're all gonna roll your eyes because you don't wanna do it because it's really, really challenging, it's really, really hard. It's going to be a front squat. You can do a classic bodybuilding front squat here. Pause in the hole. And you can build up to a 3 or a 5 rep max with that clean grip. And one of the best parts about a front squat is it forces you, even right now, because I was talking during that, I can feel my abs just quivering slightly. It forces us to have that trunk control. We're gonna hold an easier position in that bottom if I have a long-legged athlete. The reason why front squats are so good is they transfer so well to other lifts. That's also the basis of being underrated, okay? So if we use a movement that transfers very, very well, but people don't use it consistently enough because it's so hard, that makes it underrated. And that's the big factor here with front squats, is the reason why people don't do them is they're challenging, it's uncomfortable, and it's hard to put a lot of weight on the bar. It takes years to get very, very good at front squats. In fact, I front squatted every single day for 2 years because my front squat was so bad because for so long I didn't want to do it. So when we're looking at this, I challenge you to front squat once or twice a week for an entire year. See if you can add 100 pounds to your front squat, and then you're gonna notice your deadlift's probably gonna go up, your clean will go up, your snatch will go up, your freaking mobility will improve, your back strength will improve. And I've even noticed athletes, when their front squat goes up, there's another correlation to even upper body pressing and even things like push press and jerks. Okay, so use front squats today. Now let's get to the next one. Now remember, I'm using underrated to describe movements that athletes don't do enough of. We're too busy doing Instagram exercises instead of doing these movements that are foundational. And then on top of that, these movements transfer very, very well to other exercises. And transfer means if I get good at this movement, I will likely get good at 3 or 4 other exercises at the minimum. And then the third thing is, you're not doing these because they're very challenging. And that's exactly why you're not doing cleans. You hate to do cleans because you've never forced yourself to improve your front rack. You've never forced yourself to improve the contact point with the barbell on the hips. You've become offended by the fact that you can't do cleans well. So instead of actually learning the movement and getting better at them, becoming more explosive, increasing your pulling strength, increasing your mobility, becoming an absolute savage, you've just talked trash all over Reddit and all over Instagram and all over YouTube to say that these exercises suck. And that's why cleans are underrated. One thing I'm gonna share with you is that somebody like Sam Mattis, who's a 2-time Olympian, he's done better with cleans, so increasing cleans over time. And when he increases his clean, we see a direct correlation to a better vertical jump, a better broad jump, and even his deadlift. He went 3 years without deadlifting at all and then PR'd his deadlift by 70 pounds after he had increased his clean by 40 pounds, pulling just shy of 700 pounds without doing it at all. That's a transfer of training. So learn cleans, learn the clean technique, and get better at that today so that you're not a pathetic athlete, and that's why cleans are underrated. That was a little aggressive. Next exercise. So we're gonna go into those upper body lifts that are underrated. Before we do that, if you guys are struggling with your programming, one of the things that we do is we take exercises, the underrated exercises, and we figure out how to put them into a systematic program based off of your sport. All you have to do, click on the link down below, head over to peakstrength.app, or go to the Google Play Store, the Apple iOS Store, download Peak Strength, you'll get a free week. You'll start getting as swole as possible after that week. The paywall does begin, and then you can continue to smash those gains. Now, let's get to the upper body. Next lift. Okay, the next exercise that's underrated is gonna be an upper body one, because I'm sure all of you guys are out there, you're going, I want to get swole with the upper body, because you don't wanna do front squats, and you're certainly not going to clean because you're soft. Anyway, when we do the upper body work, okay, I like to think about exercises that transfer really, really well, just like we've mentioned. Okay, and the next movement is going to be a dumbbell bench, okay? And the reason why I think a lot of people struggle with dumbbell bench is because they don't think about that it transfers to other exercises. And they even struggle with simple things like this. They struggle to get in this position and then press. Here, and then press. And then here, and then press. They don't like to hold themselves accountable to use this movement in a compound setting, okay? And to challenge yourself to hold a pause position, to challenge yourself to hold a lockout position, to increase your stability while you're pressing. A lot of you guys don't even know how to come back and press right from that bottom position. So when you learn that, when you learn how to use that stretch shortening cycle, it transfers phenomenally to other exercises like the flat bench, even to a point like the incline bench, to explosive push-ups, to a sport like football or wrestling when we're pummeling. And then we can even do exercises where we alternate, and that's gonna even target our abs. So use dumbbell benches at least once, if you're younger than 18, twice a week. Do 5 to 7 sets and build up that upper body strength to get as swole as possible. Next underrated movement. Next exercise, this is gonna be a pulley movement. I know a lot of you big dudes don't like to do pulley movements because you tend to cry about the fact that you can't do this movement, which is a pull-up. Man, I'm really attacking everybody today, just like full-blown attack mode. I think I'm upset because Penn State lost last night now, but Nick Singleton still had 3 yards. I don't know if you know that Nick Singleton trained with us. So when we do a pull-up, think about pulling your sternum to the bar. If you're a heavier athlete, just try to get to the point of doing 1 or 2 pull-ups. If you can get to 1, you're gonna get to 2 a lot faster than you realize, okay? It gets very, very rapid with those gains. Once you can get to 2, try to do like 6 or 7 sets of 2 pull-ups. And then you can just keep building that volume of that pulling position. So we get set here, up, okay? Down and try and pause, up, pause, up. Now, pull-ups transfer so freaking well to the bench, to pummeling, again, just with wrestling, to shoulder stability, to bicep size, to lat size. A movement like a deadlift, you will have stronger lats and you'll be able to pack the lats a little bit better. And then on the bench press here, if we think about pulling our sternum to the bench as we're pressing, it's a similar thought process and connection that's gonna help you execute that technique at a higher level. So if you get really good at pull-ups, it's gonna transfer to a lot of other movements, a lot of other exercises, and it's gonna help with that mind-muscle action, which is gonna help you be a greater athlete. All right, we still have 3 more movements, okay? I'm gonna show you an exercise, which you're already gonna understand, but you're not doing this because you're gonna cry about the pain that you get through your sternum. You're gonna say, I don't like to do dips because it hurts my chest. I don't like to do dips because it hurts my ego, because I have to use my body weight and I'm a little bit heavier and it makes it harder to do a lot more weight. Again, I'm attacking you. So if I get here, I wanna come down, straight down with my feet, as deep as I can, and then pause at the lockout, okay? Deep, get a good stretch, back up. Good stretch, back up. Good stretch, back up, okay? So the big goal is that you would use dips with a weight belt. You build up over multiple years of doing dips. You get to the point where you can hit 300 plus pounds like I did after I sniffed my armpit to really motivate myself to hit that big dip. So use dips to blow up your bench. Use dips to increase tricep size. Use dips to increase pec size even to a point, especially as you get really, really deep and get a nice lengthened position. It's an incredible exercise to help transfer to other pressing movements. Okay, this one's for the functional gurus out there, okay? I'm on full-fledged attack on all fronts. You don't like doing preacher curls because they're single joint exercises. They're bodybuilding movements. They don't transfer really well. But when I'm getting really strong at preacher curls, what ends up happening is I get better at doing chin-ups. I get more stable in my shoulder. I get really swole freaking biceps. When I get really swole biceps, now I can row heavier. And then on top of that, if I'm a wrestler, if I'm a football player, if I'm a running back, I can hold that football a little bit tighter here. My grip strength can improve. Anything that's gonna increase my arm flexor will lead to better performance, and that shoulder stability does pay off quite a bit. So use preacher curls. This is something we do with younger athletes a lot, is that we will hammer preacher curls if they can't do chin-ups, pull-ups, or neutral grip pull-ups. Keep that in mind and use this frequently as drop sets. And if you're a business owner or a strength coach and you're struggling to get your athletes in the gym, make sure you finish at least 1 session a week with 3 or 4 sets of 25 on preacher curls with your athletes that are male. You get a male athlete who's 14, 15 years old, and you finish their workout with this, and then the next day their biceps are sore, guess what? They're gonna wanna come back and train. And we have one more movement, my all-time most underrated movement that you have never done, and we're about to show you that right now. Okay, the last and final exercise, my favorite movement of all time. So if you've watched to this point, comment down below what you think this exercise is gonna be. Okay, now that you did that, it's gonna be the miracle row. So we're gonna get set right here. I'm gonna pull this up like this. I wanna set this right here. I want a diamond grip on the dumbbell. I'm gonna get set here. I'm gonna come back, bend my elbows and get those elbows nice and deep, and then pull up overhead. A lot of you are currently commenting that's just a dumbbell pullover. It's not that special, but you're wrong. You have never done this movement. So if you did do this movement, you wouldn't be commenting that's a dumbbell pullover. The big factor is I want to lengthen the triceps, get as deep as possible, pull back over. The big thing here, I'm training my abs, I'm training my lats, I'm improving my thoracic extension, and I'm training my tricep strength. And I'm gonna do a set of 7 and I'll be sore tomorrow morning. Oh, one more. Now, when we mentioned being underrated, the reason why this is underrated, 1, you've never done this. 2, you probably won't do this because you're gonna say it's a dumbbell pullover. 3, it transfers really well. It improves people's snatch position in the catch of the snatch, which you also don't do. It improves people's position in behind the neck press, behind the neck jerk, behind the neck push press. It does a crazy job in strengthening that lockout position. It improves your bench lockout as well. So use Miracle Grows, 5 sets of 7 to 9. Bend at the elbow as you get deeper, and that's gonna lead to crazier gains. If you guys need help with your programming, head over to peakstrength.app, the Google Play Store, the Apple iOS Store, or click on this video right here. Because remember, freaks, if you wanna become a champion, you've always gotta cultivate your power. Peace.